Welcome to the SEO plus AI show. My name is Josh Bashinsky. With me, as always, I have my co-host, Greg Bassani. Say hi there, Greg.
Hey, Josh. How are you?
I'm doing great. If you've never watched the SEO plus AI show before, we are the best show to watch about SEO and AI information. We are not the best show to watch for excellence in YouTube broadcasting, but we are the best show to watch for SEO plus AI information. Today, we have a very exciting episode. We're going to look at everything that's new in AI. And also, I'm going to show what you would do to look at new trending topics. How would you stay afloat of new trending topics? In SEO, you have to watch the new trending topics, or at least you have to look at what keywords are hot and what keywords have traffic behind them, what keywords have the money behind them, and then also factor that against difficulty. You could use the new Keyword Spy to do that automatically in the keyword discovery tool in Keyword Spy. Try Keyword Spy for free for 2 weeks at trykeywordspy.com. But where do you find the new information of what is even hot or what's going on right now? Also, factored against that, everyone listening, and Greg, one might ask themselves, wow, this AI thing has gone crazy, but is it still hot? Are people still talking about it? What's going on with that? And what's new going on with any topic in particular, including AI? AI is going so hot and going so crazy. There's stuff coming out that I can't keep track of it. I'm just sitting here drinking my beer, and I have no idea what's going on because there's too much stuff going on. Well, don't worry. We've got the remedy for you. It's called Google Trends, and you can keep track of what's going on in Google Trends and all the stuff that's going on. So let's dig into Google Trends and see how it's working. Here is the thing. You go to Google Trends, and you would type in what you are interested in. And actually, you would do AI, the search term, and it's going to give you everything that's been going on in that particular thing. So what I would do to figure out what is really big in terms of keywords and what people are looking for, you could tailor it by your location. I would tailor it by worldwide. And let's just look at the past 5 years. Now, I was looking at this earlier, and it's really interesting. Boom! Wow, do you think AI has gotten popular in the last little bit? Here it is. You can see it reached its peak of popularity in terms of Google searches in April 30th to May 6th, which is interesting, and it's tapered off a bit. So that's kind of interesting. You know, that was the ChatGPT craze going on there, but it's tapered off ever so slightly, which I find interesting personally for myself, how it's tapered off there. But if you want to be like, okay, great, but now what do I type in? Now what do I check? Well, what you do is you scroll down here. It tells you the countries, the regions that have interest in that particular search phrase, which interestingly, Vietnam has a huge one. I think that's because the word AI means something in Vietnamese, probably. But here we go. Now we're getting the related queries that Google has curated for us. And now we see the big things in AI, and right away, so now this is going to be the top kind of 10 who's who list in AI. Are you guys ready? Is everyone ready? Get ready for your guesses. Okay, well, I should scroll up. now you saw already. Get ready for your guesses. Put your guesses in the chat. What you think will be the biggest related searches to AI in the last 5 years. Put your guesses in the chat. Greg, what do you think we should see on this list?
I already saw the list, so I would be cheating.
You saw 2 of the things on the list. There's more there. Do you have any other guesses? What you think?
5 through 10, I don't know. I didn't see those, but yeah. Other than those 2, I guess maybe Bard, maybe Generative AI, Google. I don't know. Yeah, those would be my guesses.
Those are good guesses. I've already looked at this list, so I know the secret answers. I know what's going to happen. Okay, all right, and let me check the chat here. What do you guys think? Nobody thinks anything. There's only 4 people watching right now. Okay, that's fine. That's perfectly fine. Everyone's watching. If you have any questions you want to ask, go ahead. Please put them in the chat. We will be happy to answer them. We might need to change the time of the show. I don't know. Let us know. Let us know in the comments later on when I post the show out of the live section. We'll curate the show, we'll edit it down, and we'll put it into the live section. We'll put it into the video section. Tell me in the either chat watching live, or tell me in the comments later on what time would work best for you to watch the show, and we will try to tailor it to that time to see what we can do. All right. So this is very exciting. This is super exciting. What are the hottest things in AI right now? Stuff that maybe you haven't even heard about or stuff that will kind of confirm your suspicions and your thoughts about what's going on in AI. Let's check it out. All right, so first off, as you can see, obviously, ChatGPT, AI ChatGPT. Clearly in the last 5 years, that's been the breakout app. That's been the hot app. I believe it's had the hottest amount of signups that any other app has ever had in history, I believe. It's like over 100 million users and reached that in a record amount of time. So that's, of course, that's what's going on there. If you don't know what ChatGPT is, this is what it is here. You chat with it and it does things. And I've been playing with the plugins version, which we're going to talk about here today. This is some of the new stuff that's all the plugins that are based in the ChatGPT. But you have chats with the AI and it talks back to you. You talk to it in English and it talks back to you and gives you answers. It can look at PDFs. It can look at YouTube videos. It can look at all kinds of things with its plugins. If you have the Plus version and you go to plugins, it has all that stuff and can do all that stuff. Is there a couple other things you would say about ChatGPT at the highest level, Greg, of anyone who doesn't really know about it, or people, SEOs, are just coming to it now?
First timers? Yeah, I would be shocked that anybody listening is a first time user of ChatGPT. I mean, our kids in school are using it. Seems like teachers are using it. Any profession, I think, is using it to some level. Like you've always said, SEOs are probably using it the most. I don't know what I would say in terms of first time. I think just echo what you said. Just get in there and start asking it questions and having it, do some tasks for you, and you'll see its capabilities and power.
Definitely, it's super powerful. It's amazing the stuff that this can do. For example, I just wrote a knowledge graph generator in it, where it will give me the complete knowledge graph for any particular keyword. And it will give me all the kind of topical cluster information from an informational perspective you might want to do, of making the kind of backlink pages and services and stuff like that. And that's kind of a really interesting thing you can get it to do. You can get it to explain the Google's knowledge graph to you. You see, I was discussing how the Google's knowledge graph works with it. I would really use it to bounce information off of. I would really use it to get more information about, understanding about what's going on about stuff. It's going to be the wave of the future. You see here, I also generated an ethical calculator, which is really interesting. You just put a situation in, and it gives you all the harms that it might cause. It gives you all the way to avoid those harms and to do better things. It can do a lot of different stuff. It can do anything you ask it to, more or less, in terms of text, in terms of generating text. Well, I shouldn't say almost. I should say almost everything, because here's where the problems come in. One, it's very good for wisdom of crowd information. So if you want to ask it, what is the general received opinion of ethics? What is the general received opinion of calls to action? Hey, can you rate the conversion rate optimization of my calls to action and rate it from a scale of 1 to 10? Hey, can you tell me how spammy my webpage is and whether people would think this is kind of low quality or not? Those kinds of general wisdom of crowds, general opinions, it's very, very good at, because it literally has the mathematical distillation of everyone's opinion from 2021 of millions and millions and billions of web pages it read at that time. And so it has a very wide breadth of knowledge and understanding of concepts in general. So that's where it'll go well, and you could do things well. Bounce ideas off it, stuff like that. Here's where it'll go very poorly. It cannot do specialist information. It cannot do professional specialist information. So, for example, I hope to God or to Buddha or the great spaghetti monster or whomever you pray to, I hope that you take these words to heart. Do not ask ChatGPT what stocks you should buy. It has no idea what stocks you should buy. It'll just be the common opinion of the herd from 2 years ago. It won't even be current. So don't ask it what stocks you should buy. Don't ask it if this stock is better than that stock. It really could lead you astray with financial information. So be very careful there. Do not ask it what crypto to buy. It's not a secret genie that has the secret knowledge of the secrets that will tell you what crypto to buy. You're going to lose your shirt if you try to do that. So do not do those kinds of things. So I really hope I'm saving people money and time and heartache by saying those things, because I see it all the time. I don't know, Greg, if you see it. I see it all the time. These get rich quick, use ChatGPT to give you the secret stock information, use ChatGPT to give you the secret crypto information. It does not know those things. ChatGPT can only know what general opinion knows, and it knows that very well. So if you think for some reason the general opinion of just hoi polloi, if you think the general opinion of people in general 2 years ago had any kind of special insight into what crypto you should buy, one, you're crazy, and two, fine, then use it. Then use ChatGPT to do that, because then it will be able to distill people's common opinion down into a succinct statement. That's why I can give them my webpage and I can say, hey, is this spammy? Is this useful? Is this helpful? Is this good content or is this bad content? Is this helping the user? And it could tell you that kind of information, and it could do it very well. In fact, we've built all of that into Keyword Spy automatically for you. We are the only keyword tool out there that does this. We give you a heat score. We give you a score on how helpful you are, your expertise, your experience, your authority, and your trust. And the review AI as well. We tell you if your reviews are good based on all the information that Google has said you need to do there. We've incorporated all that information into our advanced AI tool, and we'll tell you all those things. And we're using Turbo as the engine to do that. It's very smart. It's very good in distilling common opinion. It's very bad in distilling specialist opinion because it doesn't have specialist opinion in the corpus. There is not enough specialist opinion in the corpus to do it. Which is another reason why, to continue on this tangent, for ChatGPT, the definite don'ts is do not get it to do your SEO for you. It is not an SEO consultant in a box. It is just not. It's going to lead you astray. It's going to be common opinion of people 2 years ago, out of date, of what you should do. Oh yeah, you should buy links and you should do this and do all these dangerous things. Or, oh yeah, just don't get ChatGPT just to write your content out of the box. It's going to be the lowest level common denominator kind of content. It's not going to be useful or helpful at all really for the end user. You need to do this in a more structured, programmatic way of sussing out all the helpful stuff, sussing out all the review stuff, sussing out all the expert stuff, teasing all the information out, and then backfilling that information into articles, and then backfilling all the semantic content you need to backfill into articles. It's a much more complex process that we already do automatically for you in Keyword Spy. And you'll see in the generate article button, boom, it generates you an article in a few minutes, usually up to 10, 20 minutes when the system is busy. We're still in beta, but it's getting faster and better now. You'll see the heat score, you'll see the semantic scores, you'll see all the helpfulness and everything we built in there. You'll be able to literally rate it on a 60 checklist rating of what makes a quality article or doesn't. That's how you get a high quality article, is by using Keyword Spy or by following the same kind of processes that we do, which would take a long time to do manually because there's like 20 different prompts working in with each other, putting in information, doing other information, factoring all these articles together, checking it, rechecking it, that kind of a thing. Again, you could try Keyword Spy for free for 2 weeks. Go to trykeywordspy.com. So otherwise, ChatGPT is great. I would bounce ideas off it. I would use it for ideas and things like that. But it doesn't do specialist knowledge at all. And don't be fooled in that regard. It does common knowledge. It does common denominator opinion. It will distill down the opinion of many, many, many people. So that's why it's good for marketing in the sense of trying to get an idea of what people think. What do people think about this? What do people think about that? It's very good for distilling that kind of thing down as long as you're asking it politically correct questions. If you start asking it non-politically correct questions, then it won't answer. It doesn't want to weigh in whether or not, XYZ group of people is ABC quality. It doesn't want to weigh into those kinds of questions. You can get some information there, but that's not really what you want to use it for. You want to use it for maybe just basic kind of stuff. Greg, do you think I forgot anything in that kind of regard?
Yeah, I think you pretty much nailed it. I mean, I've tried multiple times using it for some SEO answers, and like you said before, it's basically going to just give you what SEOs have said over the last 10 years, 15 years, and a lot of that being in your mentorship in SEO, underground SEO university, we learned to not think that way. So for us, at least, we definitely wouldn't want to use ChatGPT. I think someone starting out will gravitate towards it because it's free, it's easy, the information looks good, it sounds good, but is it the wisest SEO information? No, it's not. And so you definitely want to be careful what you pick out of it and implement on your sites and things like that. So
yeah, I couldn't agree more. where opinion is good. If opinion is good in that answer, or if common opinion is good in this area you're asking about, then use ChatGPT and use it to parse information, use it to write web pages, use it to write code. It does things like that as well. Where you need specialist knowledge and not common opinion, ChatGPT becomes increasingly worse. And the problem is, it's not that you won't get an answer. It'll give you an answer. It'll just be lies. It'll be hallucinating. It'll be the total bullshit. It'll make up. And it doesn't differentiate between the two because it can't. It's not self-aware. It doesn't know these things. So be very careful about those kinds of things. All right. The next big one here on the list, and I'm not at all surprised to see this, Greg. And what do I always tell people the biggest AIs are, which really are going on right now? ChatGPT for text generation and Midjourney for image generation. If you have not checked out Midjourney, you definitely should. We have a video on it in our channel here. You definitely how you would use Midjourney in general and how you would use Midjourney for SEO. It is the premier tool for generating images and visual content. You can see the kind of content here that it produces. Look at the jaw-droppingly gorgeous kind of content you can produce with Midjourney. This is a fake. This is not a real photo, right? This was all generated by Midjourney. Everything here is generated by the AI. So when you take a look at this, some of its photographic quality is just amazing stuff that you can generate with it. It operates actually out of Discord. So if I go here to Midjourney, you see it operates out of Discord here, and people are generating stuff on the fly as we go. You can see what everyone else is doing. You can also go to your own private kind of chat with it if you have the private version, the private plugin version. And so this is the kind of stuff it generates. You can generate photo quality stuff. Now look at this. This is pretty good. Or obviously more video game style stuff. This is, you can see where they get the influences for these kinds of content. It's all pretty darn amazing what you can do with it. So I would check out Midjourney. Definitely, it can do some amazing kinds of things. And it's not that hard to do. Does anyone want me to generate something right now auto-magically with Midjourney? Let me go here to my conversation with the Midjourney bot. Now, for example, you see this guy here? This is a little robot it generated for me, and I'm doing in a marketing promotion for my friend who's a chef at a restaurant here in town. I'm doing the AI versus chef marketing promotion for him, where we're going to use ChatGPT to generate kind of fictitious, kind of funny recipes. After you insert some ingredients, the AI will generate a recipe, and then he's going to have to try to make that taste good. Or make it look good, depending on what people typed in, or make a recipe based off of that. And this is the little AI robot I generated here to go on the page to use on the web page. So I didn't have to siphon through stock photos or clip art. So it's a really, really interesting thing to do. If you're not using it, you really should. So what should I do here, Greg, or people in the chat? Do you have any suggestions of what I can just type in here to generate for you on the fly of what you can see?
I have a suggestion, and it actually goes along with your restaurant, but like prepared food.
Yeah.
There was a website that I was looking at that's for sale, and all it does is sell license to it's real photography of food, I assume.
Yeah.
And they charge like $1,000 a year to have access to their library.
Oh my goodness.
and no, the thing is like selling for like $6 million. I was like shocked. They only have like, I don't know, under 200 customers, but they make a lot of money. And then I'm thinking, well, couldn't I make these prepared food photographs in Midjourney? And so I'm not an expert or even close to as good as you. I'd love to see what you could come up with. Like,
oh my goodness. Okay, well, this is how you would. So I think after this test, we're going to see something rather shocking. So is everyone ready for something rather shocking about what Greg just said? Okay. So to do this in Midjourney, you need to use the imagine prompt, the imagine command. So I would go /imagine and then a space, and then you get the prompt here. And I would say a dish of eggs Benedict. There we go. And what I would do is I would say photographic quality, moody lighting, whatever. I would say high definition, add quality. Artistic So I would type in these things and hit enter. And so it's going to go, okay. It's going to go back to its corpus. It's going to understand the English that I put in here. And it's going to start generating images. And you see, it doesn't take that long. Boom. Now it's starting to generate them already. And let's see if this picture, you can already see the Eggs Benedict starting to come out. And I said moody lighting, so maybe that was not the right lighting direction to give it. But I'm starting to get hungry already. I could see the Eggs Benedict. I could see the hollandaise sauce. I'm starting to get hungry myself, personally. Eggs Benny is one of my favorite brunch dishes, that's for sure.
Mine too.
It's looking pretty good. It's looking pretty good. 93% done. Almost complete. And boom. Here we
Josh, I got two questions.
Mm-hmm.
One, are these unique images, meaning no one could say, hey, you stole my image? And number two, are these my images now? Or are they still Midjourney's?
Great question. So I'm not a lawyer. I can't give legal advice. The law about this is all very fuzzy. There are current court cases going on that artists are angry that Midjourney could just generate these. But I will tell you what I've done in the past. Again, I'm not a lawyer. I can't give legal advice. I'm not saying people should copy what I'm doing at all. I'm just saying I have access to these, and Midjourney is like, go ahead, use them. So as far as Midjourney is concerned, they don't care. And look how gorgeous and, quite frankly, delicious these pictures of Eggs Benedict look. Now, it might not have every dish in its library, but any kind of common dish that people order a lot, it's going to have pictures of those, like a steak, lobster, Eggs Benny, pad thai, all these top level dishes that people get all the time, butter chicken, those kinds of things that are very popular across the different kinds of cuisine. It's going to have in there, and look how gorgeous it is and how high ad quality this is. And look, I'll just do this and I'll say, okay, so I can redo versions here by clicking the versions. I can redo the whole thing by clicking redo. If I didn't like any of these, I can do different versions of these ones if I want different versions. I'll just upscale version 4 and it'll go, okay, and then presto changeo, boom. Version 4 is upscaled. Here it is at 100% of viewing. Ready to use on your webpage, looking gorgeous, looking delicious. A pretty darn good photograph of Eggs Benny with bacon, it looks like. The other ones had ham. I think one had salmon, if I'm not mistaken. So, wow. I mean, wow. So if you've never seen this before, I'm hoping your eyes are going, whoa. And I don't know if you're as hungry as I am right now, but I got to take my wife out for Eggs Benny after this. This is what we got to do. So, so that's Midjourney. It is just amazing what it can do. Get in on it now. If you're not playing with Midjourney, or at least just like seeing what it can do, or have some employee or a friend who's into Midjourney who can know how to whisper to it and say the right words here to get what you want. Although they're always improving it. They're always improving it to make it better. It really is. I'm not at all surprised to see it here as the second most biggest related search to AI in the last 5 years. It is these are the kings right now. These are the kings. ChatGPT is the king for generating text and programming and anything in that kind of format of textual information. Midjourney is the king right now when it comes to generating images. Now, are there other variations of these things? There definitely are. Are we going to cover them today? Yes, we should go over them today as well. Alrighty, let's see what the next ones are. The next page. This will be very interesting. What's hot and new? Boom. Midjourney AI again. Then AI art generator. So now Midjourney is breaking out, but people have always been looking for AI art generating as well. AI art generator. You see, there's other kinds of AI art generators: Night Cafe, Hotpot, OpenArt. There's DALL-E 2 from ChatGPT, OpenAI's company. They have something called DALL-E 2. But I'm telling you right now, you can look at all these other guys here if you want. Zapier is also another big plugin for ChatGPT that's coming out, which is going to be very, very interesting. But I'm telling you guys right now, they don't hold a candle to Midjourney. I've tried 3 or 4 of these. They are nowhere as good as Midjourney, quite frankly. Midjourney does have a free version, and if you're used to how Discord works, you can get it going. It's not too difficult at all. So, and I have a private account, so I can just go and shout the Midjourney bot, and I don't have to watch everyone else's stuff. Although I don't mind watching everybody else's stuff because it gives me ideas of what to do. I'm like, oh, look, this is how you get all the different kind of things that they're seeing with the beautiful images and the beautiful photography, lens flares and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, okay, that's how you get this stuff. So it kind of teaches you and trains you how to do this thing as you see what other people are doing. Look at this milkshakes they generated here. Boom. Look at that. Complete with ingredients on the bottom here, right? That's just amazing what some other people here are doing. So, and you just go to the newbie rooms here, or you go to the general image generation rooms, and you can see what everyone's kind of working on. Oh, wow, look at these pictures of Henry Cavill as Superman. Whoa, look at the quality of these. These are pretty crazy. Like, look at this one. That's pretty amazing. Look at that. So you could generate all kind of crazy stuff. All these other AI art generators, there are other ones, but Midjourney really is kind of drinking their milkshake. And I think it's the biggest one you should take a look at. Now there's this other one here. Look at this, Beta Character AI. What's that? Well, let's take a look. And you'll see I've searched already, Beta Character AI. Beta Character AI is another kind of large language model that will generate for you. I believe it's based off of Lambda. And you can use this to kind of just play with personally, but you can always also make your own character assistant you can chat with. I believe I've already chatted with it here. I can't remember if I'm logged in. I know I've played with this before. So there's different kind of characters here you can chat with. It looks like it's trying to kind of muscle into replicas territory, maybe like an online companion kind of territory. But also there's your own general character assistant that you can chat with. You can ask it questions. And as you can see, it'll brainstorm ideas, draft emails, write code, give advice, and much more. Basically, it's trying to do what ChatGPT is doing. And so it's a large language model, just like ChatGPT is. I believe it's based off of Lambda, which is one of Google's transformers. I think it's ex-Google employees working for this company, actually, if I recall correctly. So this is another one you could type with here. Hi, what can you do well? So basically you can brainstorm ideas, talk to it, math, science, history. You can recommend books, provide advice, support. They're trying to be obviously some kind of companion there like that. Brainstorm ideas, generate simple code, etc., etc. So Character.ai again is kind of a clone of ChatGPT, which I think is fascinating. We're going to see a lot of that here. Here's another one called Wombo AI. What is Wombo? Let's see, I've already checked it out. Now we're going to get into other AIs you may never have heard of. Some of them you might like, some of them you might not. This apparently is a lip sync app. So you can do kind of memes, you can do kind of lip syncing, you can do something for social media. So it's kind of like one of those like filters you would use for social media. So again, not quite my cup of tea because I'm not really on social media, but some people may really love this. Some people might want to use this and check out what's going on there. But it's interesting to see, like, okay, so when it comes to investing in AI or thinking about AI with a business perspective, ChatGPT obviously is the most serious. Midjourney is the second most serious. Then we got a bunch of runners up. Then we got things that are like, okay, they're trying to get into like the quickest, lowest common denominator space of what you can do. ChatGPT again. All right, now here's another big one. Stable diffusion. So you might ask, well, Josh, Midjourney looked awesome, but what if I want to generate other images in Midjourney? For example, just for the sake of example, what if I want to imagine a beautiful naked lady? Am I allowed to do that? And the answer is no. You're not allowed to generate any kind of pornographic content whatsoever. You're not allowed to do those things, no matter how artistic you want to make it. No matter how, not only that, you can't do certain other things, like you can't do, like let's say you're Josh, let's say you're like, okay, Josh, I love Japanimation, I want to make my own graphic novel, and it's going to be R-rated, it's going to be adult-rated, so there will be violence in the graphic novel, there'll be a little bit of nudity in the graphic novel, just like many good Japanimations have, like Ghost in the Shell and stuff like that. I want to do that kind of thing, I want to make my own kind of thing, I want to make a web page like that, blah, 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 blah. Sorry, you can't do it with Midjourney. You just can't do it. And maybe other business ideas. Like, I don't know what everyone, how you feel about these things. And Greg and I have had these conversations before about how people feel about this stuff. But let's say you want to make dare I say, a pornographic website. What if you want to make a porn site? The first person who comes up with an AI generated porn site that kind of rivals YouPorn or Pornhub or those kinds of sites will be a millionaire. They will be a millionaire, the first person to pull that off. So there's a huge, as you can imagine, because you can't do it in the winner of the best image generator here. All kind of people are trying to do that. They're trying to start their own kind of image generation that they have full control of the content and get out of the AI guardrails. The AI guardrails is a common theme both in ChatGPT. As I said, you can't ask it unpolitically correct things. For example, I don't know if I want to totally get banned by these things. Can we discuss the bad qualities of, I don't even want to type it in because I'm going to sound like a racist. But, can we discuss the bad qualities of, I could type something in here and they're going to be like, no, you shouldn't do that. You're terrible. You're not allowed to do those kinds of things here. So that's where Stable Diffusion comes in. Stable Diffusion is a type of AI. So let's take a look here. Stable Diffusion. Stable Diffusion is an AI model that will allow you, it has a public release, that will allow you to generate images. Now the images are nowhere near as good as Midjourney. Midjourney, here's the thing about AI, and Greg, I think you'll be able to chime in and agree with me about what I'm going to say about these things. It's not easy to do, right? This is all like we just landed on Mars and we're trying to build a city on Mars. Everything is hard to do. Yes, there's tons of different large language models. For example, the latest open source large language model that looks any good is called Falcon LLM. It's been put out by the Technology Innovation Institute in Abu Dhabi. And it has, in some benchmarks, up to ChatGPT level quality of text generation. It is free and open source to use under an Apache 2 license, I believe it was, which I believe, I'm a lawyer, can't get legal advice, but last time I read it, I believe I saw there that it's free for commercial use as well. But the thing is that it's not as high quality as ChatGPT. It might be able to chat like character.ai can about simple little things, but if you start asking it to do complex things or more advanced things, it can't do it. Why? Because it's technologically very expensive. The smarter the AI gets, the more millions of dollars you need to spend to make it that way. So stuff like Falcon LLM is not quite there yet. It's not there yet. The other open source large language models, there's also Bloom, there's Llama, there's Alpaca, there's all these other open source models that have tried to eat ChatGPT's lunch, but they're nowhere near because ChatGPT has been fine-tuning and doing machine learning on our interactions with it for the last 6 or 7 years. And that's why ChatGPT is so good and so human-like, it's so human-seeming and smart in its answers, because people like me have been using it for 6 or 7 years. They've been machine learning off of all of our answers. So it's not easy for an LLM like this just to come along and think they can do text generation just as easy as big tech. There are huge technological and cost hurdles to overleap there. And then they need the user base, and they need years and years of fine-tuning on top of it to get it as smart as ChatGPT. The same thing applies to Stable Diffusion. These are some of the kind of images it will generate, but if you even look at these images, they're nowhere near as good as Midjourney. Nowhere near as good. So people are starting to make their own Stable Diffusion versions from this repository here in GitHub, which you can download and you can just use. You could download this and start running it and using it if you know how to use GitHub and Python and things like that. But it doesn't generate anything anywhere near as useful or as good as Midjourney does. And there's people who are already starting and have gotten really high up in the pornographic kind of area of things. If you work in those niches or you're interested in those niches, he said with his tongue fully in cheek, I came across this from my AI research, I assure you. But if you want to look at pornpen.ai, pornpen.ai, I will warn you, it has not safe for work images that show up right in front of your face immediately. So don't go there when you're at work, unless your work is okay with that. But I guess the only reason why you'd be looking at it for business reasons is because your work is okay with that. So warning you, it's not safe for work. It's definitely a porn site. But it's all AI generated as well, using Stable Diffusion models and then fine-tuning on top of those models. You need fine-tuning on top of the base models for all of these different AIs we're talking about. So I think that's all very interesting. Greg, what do you think about all those different things?
Yeah, I think Midjourney is going to be obviously the most commercial acceptable because of those guardrails. I think that's going to be one that gets pushed more. But like you said, the other one is going to be more for folks trying to do things outside those limitations. But clearly, I think Midjourney is on that path to just being the leader in the image. And then aren't they supposed to be doing video as well? Or
yeah, they're moving to video. There's another one that I'm part of called Runway, and they do video generation right now. Here's the height of video generation.
I used to fight diabetes. No.
Let me play it on my screen. Here's the height of AI generation for video right now. Look at that. This is supposed to be Wilford Brimley fighting the exploding pumpkins. Can you guys see that? Can you see the terror that is video generation right now? This is very, very terrifying right now what video generation and AI is doing. I'm like, whoa, this is crazy when I watch it. Look at the weird distortion on their faces and things like that when that happens. And look, he's like partly a pumpkin. I'm not really sure what's going on with this video.
When you think about this and being on YouTube, I mean, I don't think YouTube, Google is going to care if it's AI generated. They're still only going to care if people actually watch it and are intrigued by it. And if they keep watching it, then why would Google say, hey, no, we're not allowing AI content on one of the platforms, YouTube being? So what's your thoughts on that? Because it's almost in line with creating AI content for websites. Why wouldn't you allow it if people engage with it?
Oh my God. Yeah, no, I'm listening to you, Greg. I'm sorry. I'm just terrified by what I'm seeing on the screen here.
That's what I mean. You're telling me you would turn this off? Like, people are going to watch.
Yeah. Oh my God, what's happening? Oh, this is scary. Okay.
Look at his arms. They're so weird.
I know exactly why that's happening. Yeah, it's just because of the statistical generation of the pixels. It's like it doesn't count the number of arms and fingers you're supposed to have. It's just like, oh, statistically, it's supposed to an arm supposed to grow here, and this happens, and this happens. That's some weird stuff, let me tell you. So that's going on right now in Runaway. I'm also in their Discord here. It's one of them. There's another one I should talk about. Remind me to talk about Auto GPT and Agent GPT by the end of this. If we don't talk about that, that's another Discord server I'm in here, watching what Agent GPT does. Agent GPT, if you can't see this here, what it'll do is kind of like it's like an autonomous agent, Agent GPT and Auto GPT, and so they're using ChatGPT with textual content to go look for information for you and make text files out of it and do things like that. So that's kind of what's going on here, what Agent GPT will do for you. We tried it in an early stage, and as Greg will attest, it didn't work very well in an early stage. It was just kind of making everything up and wasn't really doing it. But those are other kinds of autonomous agents that you'll give it a complex set of tasks, like 5 different tasks, or 5 different, one goal with 5 different tasks of how to do it. And it'll go and try to do those things for you. It'll try to search the web. It'll try to open web pages. It'll try to read content. And then in the future, it'll be able to do programming for you as well. It'll be able to write scripts for you. It could do all different kinds of things for you. So that's another thing.
That company raised $50 million on a $500 million valuation, by the way, just in December. So it's pretty recent. That's speaking of Runway AI.
Runway, yeah. Yeah, that's
already a $500 million valuation on this company.
Yeah.
And so that's another winner. Midjourney, in terms of investing, I don't even think I can't find it, and I didn't do a lot of research, but
they're not even open for investment yet.
No, I don't even think so. But a company like Runway ML definitely is showing you where savvy investors are putting their money. So something to think about, something to watch, and obviously use it and get your own, feel for it. If some of these are working way better than others, then those are the ones I would bet on, because they're so far ahead and they're just going to continue to hire better talent. especially when they raise that type of money, all they're doing is trying to acquire the best minds in that, being engineers mainly. So those are going to be the winners if you're looking to do any type of seed investments, Series A, or whatever you're trying to do.
Then we're going to be cooking with gas, because suddenly companies are going to start buying other companies. Like Runway is going to acquire Midjourney, or probably the other way around. Midjourney will acquire Runway, or something along those lines. And suddenly, boom! I keep telling people, AI is not going to have linear growth. It's going to have exponential growth. Like, it's going to have huge sudden jumps in growth, like we saw here in AI trends. It's going to have huge sudden growth. All of a sudden growth is what's going to have. Then it's going to go down. Then it's going to go boom, up all of a sudden again. It's just going to keep going and getting bigger and bigger. All right, so let's check out here. What else have we got going on here? My AI Snapchat. What's that? Now, I know what this is. My AI Snapchat is how Snapchat has decided to implement AI, or generative text. They're using OpenAI's ChatGPT, and that's the next thing you need to watch out for. All of these big apps, operating systems, word processing documents, everything is going to get generative AI built into it. Jeff Hinton's generative AI is going to be built into everything. It's going to generate images, videos, images and text right away, including tables, table data format, Excel format. It's going to do any kind of bulleted lists. It already does it very easily. It's going to do coding, HTML, formatting, PDFs, JSON, scripting, all of that out of the box in every app, automatically generated, just like an autocomplete on steroids. It helps you with everything. Like you don't have to look into Clippy's clip art anymore. You tell Word, generate me an image that looks like this and put in the text here, and it'll do it, right? Whether it's using Midjourney to implement it in, or they have their own, we're in the wild west of like, this is like 1994 all over again with the web. It could be Flash, it could be HTML, it could be Internet Explorer, it could be Firefox, it could be Mozilla, it could be Chrome. There are winners that are going to show up later on that are not even on the scene yet. Chrome wasn't even on the scene in web browsers in 1993, 94. It was Mozilla, and then Internet Explorer came out. So we're in new races of new technologies and new open, exciting stuff going on. So it's super exciting. So basically, what is this? My AI and Snapchat? It's just basically ChatGPT stuff. You can converse with it. You can ask it a burning trivia question, offer advice. It's basically character.ai, but on Snapchat is basically what it is. So we're starting to see some themes now, Greg, of how this is all going. This is really a good overshot of the themes of what's going on in AI right now.
Yep.
Okay, what else do we got here? Now we got, there it is. So Greg was, I bet you I'll see Bard on this list. Here you go, Greg. So now we have Google Bard, but it's way down in the list compared to ChatGPT. Google Bard is ChatGPT's kind of cousin from Google, of trying to do the exact same things that ChatGPT does, coding for you, answering questions, doing things, except that it has Google search baked in kind of in the root of it, although it doesn't really work very well right now. It's still hallucinating. It's still giving you bullcrap information. But pretty soon, this Google Bard is going to be worked into Google's generative search at the top of Google search results. And then we're going to have a very robust competitor to ChatGPT there. So, because ChatGPT also has a plugin. One of these plugins up here in plugins, different stuff I can do here in GPT-4 is browse with Bing. So you could search Bing. You could say, hey, search the latest news and tell me top 3 things going on. And so now it's browsing the web. Now it's going to check Bing. It searched Bing for latest news. It's thinking about it. And so here also you see OpenAI is stealing Agent GPT's lunch. OpenAI is going to have everything that Agent GPT does, OpenAI is going to do here. So again, Agent GPT and Auto GPT, which I showed you earlier in the video, which are kind of like these autonomous bots which kind of follow your instructions and do things. This is something I could have asked Agent GPT to do, but ChatGPT very soon is going to be able to do this out of the box. So it did a search for latest news, and then it went to ABC News. It read the content. Then it searched for more information that it found. Now it's searching CNN, Chris Licht steps down. It's searching for information about this to have the updated information so that it's not hallucinating and it's not just telling you a common opinion from 2 years ago. Remember, because I warned you guys, that's what all textual generative models will do this, because they're all statistical. They don't know how many arms or fingers you're supposed to have. They don't know what truth or non-truth is. They just statistically produce the next bit of information that they think is supposed to go there, based on all the machine learning they've done from all the millions of pictures they've seen, millions of videos they've watched, or billions and billions of web pages they've read. So now it's very slowly clicking on these links like a human would, reading the information, taking it in, training the information, looking all this stuff, clicking on the stuff, and eventually it will answer my query. I could have just searched Google and got this in 3 seconds. That would have been a lot easier. That's the thing I keep telling people for generative search. You notice how slow it is? You notice how annoying it is? There's not a lot of ways to speed this up. It's always going to have a lag time. And in many cases, just for quick information, the featured snippet's going to be better. So finally, eventually, here it is. Here's the stuff that it thinks it's found from Bing. So again, do you trust the search quality of Bing too? That's another question you need to ask. Here's the stuff it found. Air quality in the US. Chris Licht to step down after CNN. And it's still giving me information. Blah, 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 blah. Apparently there's a lot to say about this. And it also has to use the new GPT-4 model to do this. It's GPT-4 browsing, and which is slower. GPT-4 is slower because it needs more intelligence. Turbo is great, but it's not great for everything. And if you try to get it doing really complex stuff, it fails. It forgets what it's doing. So to do complex stuff like doing these web searches, to parse all this information, to then explain it properly in a consolidated way, quite frankly, takes GPT-4 to do. And GPT-4 is a memory hog and is really expensive for OpenAI to run. So there's interesting bottlenecks here. There's interesting things going on about how well it works, how well it doesn't, who's big, who's not, how things are going, how things are not going. It's very, very interesting stuff. All right. And last page, last but not least, what do we think we're going to see here as the top AIs that have been generated in the last year? What do we think it's going to be? Last 5 years. It is, boom, something called Perplexity AI. What is that? Okay, let's check it out. Perplexity AI. I've already been there because I've searched it. Perplexity.ai. I don't even know what this is. Let me show you how this works. Please go here and tell me what this does. Oh, I've reached my GPT-4 cap. How could I have reached my cap? I didn't use it that much. That's weird. Okay, let me go do this. Perplexity AI. Searching it out here. So it unlocks the power of knowledge with information discovery and sharing. What is this? Perplexity for Android is here. A superpower on your phone that allows you to search, discover, research, and learn faster than ever before. Ask anything with voice input, learn with follow-up questions, and build your library of threads. Interesting. So I wonder if this is a consensus.ai clone. Interesting. So let me check to see here what it does. Ask it anything. That's okay. What's the history of Argentina? Boom. It gives you an answer. I think this is based off of Lambda, if I recall reading correctly. I better join their Discord here to see what's going on. Boom. I'll join it. Well, they got 30,000 members.
Google Bard says it's better at answering factual questions than ChatGPT.
Interesting.
It is interesting. It's free, publicly available, and its creativity, it's worse. Creating text formats, ChatGPT is better, but it's interesting.
FAQ. Does Perplexity provide an API? No. What technologies does it use? It uses OpenAI GPT models. Okay. So it doesn't. It wasn't Lambda. I was wrong. Will the Copilot feature be added to the Android app? The Copilot email logging feature will be added in the next release. Multiple languages. Maybe search operators, yes. Can you summarize web pages or PDFs? Ask it to summarize a plus URL or use the Chrome extension. It has a Chrome extension. So it has a Copilot Chrome extension that will tell you stuff about the web page when you're browsing. That's another kind of way people are definitely kind of using AI. You start to see very common ways people are using it and thinking about it. Another one like this, perplexity.ai. Why do I care about this? And it even looks like consensus.ai. Okay, so it looked on these places for the information and gave you information. Basically, OpenAI is going to eat their lunch too by just building into ChatGPT, and these guys are going to be redundant.
Yeah.
You know who's not going to be redundant? Consensus.app. Consensus.app is the same idea, except they actually search actual peer-reviewed, academic, highly cited scientific journals. If you want the latest of what science says, as if science was a person who could talk, Consensus.app is that person. So do you have any science questions you want to ask? Greg, anything in particular? Like, how about, what are the benefits of mindfulness? How about that? Is there any scientific research to prove that mindfulness is a good thing? Let's try that out. And you see, it will synthesize all the information and give you a summary. You don't need to read the highly cited journals that this came from that are very rigorous and have systematic reviews. So you know that they're the most sciencey of the sciencey, they're most truthy of the truthy. You can just read the summary. It says, these studies suggest that mindfulness provides benefits in psychological, physiological, and psychosocial outcomes, including reducing anxiety, depression, and stress, improved cardiovascular and psychological health, and enhanced verbal learning and memory. Wow! I could have done a Google search and read for a couple hours to find out if that's a real thing, or Consensus.app just gives it to me right here. Now, here's the problem. OpenAI could eat Consensus's lunch if it ever has a plugin in the plugins here. If I can check the plugins here. Oh, it won't even let me click it because I've used them. Okay, now here's another thing. Here's the settings for OpenAI I want to show you guys. Here's the general beta features. Here's the plugins. You can turn them on and off. Here's the data controls. I also exported my data with ChatGPT. You can manage your shared links. You can share links in ChatGPT to conversations that people can also use. And you can export your data. I actually did export my data. I want to show you guys what it has in it, basically. Look, it has all my user information. It has all my shared conversations that I shared with people. So if you look at the JSON here, here's the shared conversations that I've shared with people. I've done the knowledge graph explained. I have a link on that. I shared the ethical calculator. I did a link on that. Here's very interesting. It does one model comparisons. And it here basically is a bunch of prompts that I was doing. And it compared when I tried it in Turbo and when I did it in GPT-4. And it did the comparisons in there auto-magically and keeps them in here for them to internally in OpenAI determine which is better, the Turbo version or the GPT-4 version. So I thought that was very interesting here. It had all this information where you've used Turbo and GPT-4 and tried it on different ones. It also had all my complete message feedback. Every time in ChatGPT, I've gone in and I've said like, this is good, this is bad, or I've tried to say something here about this and said, hey, was this a good answer? Was this a bad answer? It collects all that information of what you've ever told it, and it keeps that information for your personal history, which I thought was interesting for it to do. And then finally, it has all of your conversations you've ever had with ChatGPT. And I've had over 15 megabytes of conversations with ChatGPT. That just goes to show you how much I'm on this thing and how much I'm chatting with it and how much I'm whispering to it and how much prompt engineering I do. And that doesn't include the conversations I had with previous versions of ChatGPT before it was called ChatGPT. When it was just called OpenAI's Playground and I was playing with GPT in general in there. So just email it to you here. You can see they emailed it to me and I downloaded my data export. So I just wanted to mention you guys can do that. I thought that was very interesting as well. So there's consensus.app if you want to search scientific surveys, which is very interesting. This perplexity.ai is kind of a ripoff of that, but it's going to be usurped or bought by OpenAI. Interestingly, though, they have 30,000 users. That's very interesting. So that's interesting to see. And here's some other ones. Look at this. AI character chat. So we have got character AI already. AI generated images. We already had that. Free AI art generator. We already had that. Stable diffusion and other AI generators that people are looking for. And last but not least, can you believe it, Greg? Quillbot.
Quillbot?
Yeah, is the 25th one. Of all the popular AI searches of the last 5 years, it's the 25th one.
Well, I think I know the reason for it.
Why do you think?
Because people are generating a lot of text with ChatGPT, and then they plug it into an AI detector. It says it's AI, and then somewhere they found out that, they can plug it into Quillbot, and it will spin it and make it human-like, and that's the reason why it's, I think, getting that type of traction or search volume, whatever.
Yeah. When I asked Perplexity.ai what it says Quillbot is an AI-powered writing tool that can be used to paraphrase written content. It can change the tone or grammar of text and is not only a paraphrasing tool, but can also assist with writing tasks. Quillbot offers several tools, including a grammar checker, citation generator, summarizer, and an all-in-one tool co-writer. So there's a lot of different writing tools. It is the new hot thing in AI and SEO to have AI-generated content. Obviously, in Keyword Spy, we are one of the top runners of generating AI content in Keyword Spy, and also detecting AI content. Remember when I told you just can't go to ChatGPT and get it to write content? This is why Quillbot and other writing tools like Keyword Spy are so popular and people are using them like crazy, because ChatGPT is kind of crappy at doing it. So it doesn't say what. Let me see. What AI tool does it use in specific? It's not mentioned in the search results. Interesting. So Perplexity just uses the snippets of the search results to get the information. So it uses Google as a curator, and then plugs that into ChatGPT, and ChatGPT explains it. And then it's got the people also ask, probably directly from Google here as well. Wow, neat stuff. Not going to last for long. Someone will buy this. Someone will make this illegal. This is not going to last for long, or maybe it will. But I have my doubts about this one. Interesting stuff. But here's the thing: if you want to do AI content detection, I would either use Keyword Spy, because we have our own proprietary GLTR method of doing AI content detection. Again, go to trykeywordspy.com to try it free for 2 weeks. But if you want a different one that also works very well, my favorite here is originality.ai. And this content I'm looking at here, it just so happens it was pasted in from Quillbot. This happened to be an article from one of the students in Underground SEO University, my private SEO mastermind group. If you'd like to join that, email me at joshpaczynski@gmail.com and we can discuss pricing. He said, Quillbot's the newest thing, blah, 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 blah. And I said, oh yeah, send me the example of what it produces. It produced this, and look, originality.ai knows that it's 100% AI generated. That means they're using a GPT version of generator to produce the content. So maybe he doesn't know how to use Quillbot. I know it can do kind of spinning and rewriting and work in human content in there that will make it less AI detectable. But Google has AI detection on lock. Originality.ai has AI detection on lock. It is very good at detecting AI content, just like Keyword Spy is very good at detecting AI content. And Google has a bit of a problem with AI content. Sometimes it indexes it, sometimes it does not. Sometimes it ranks it well, sometimes it doesn't. At a statistical ratio that is lower than human-generated content by 60%. I've measured it. So you can use AI content, and we definitely do use AI content. It's not about whether to use AI content or not. It's not 100% difference. It's what percentage of your content is going to be AI generated and where in the page you're going to use it. The URL, the title, the H1, the meta description. the tables, the lists, the first paragraph, all of the paragraphs. Those are all the different kind of important SEO areas I can think of for on-page off the top of my head, including the alt attributes for images, generating images. Are you going to use AI for that too? Are we going to use AI for generating the code? So it's not a question of whether or not in the future moving forward, it's not a question of whether or not of should I use AI content or not. The only question is how much and where. And so that's the question of our age. How much AI content are we going to use, and where are we going to put it in the page, and what tools are we going to use to generate it? We've talked about all the top tools already on the show today. So anyhow, that's the top 25 searches of the last 5 years of AI. That's what's going on. I think that's very interesting stuff. Greg, what do you think? Do you have any final comments on that? Any last things you want to say?
Not really. I think it's, never-ending, changing, fast-paced. I'm actually kind of burnt out, honestly.
Yeah,
just from AI.
There's a lot.
It's moving too fast. I do think, there is something to say about advancing and, moving forward technology-wise. But you know what? The last 10, 15 years, we've been throwing a lot of advancement in tech. I just think we need a little break. We need to slow down. I'm sure a lot of people don't agree and they thrive on this and they love it and they're like, give me more. But me personally, I actually liked going to the ABC Islands because I felt like I was, stepping back in time 40 years. I liked it. I really liked it.
Yeah.
So that's my take on it. But this is my life. This is my work. So I want to see it progress, but maybe not as fast as it's moving.
Yeah. No, and you know what? And I think a lot of people will echo you, Greg. I think a lot of people are interested and they're intrigued, but I think we're getting hype fatigue. I think we're getting burned out with all the new things that are coming out. So that's why I want to make this video, to help everyone out, so I can collate and curate things for you, just like I was an artificial intelligence. Pretty soon, that's my robot. Did you see that? Pretty good, eh? And pretty soon I will be. Pretty soon it'll be AIs making these YouTube videos, collating and curating everything for you. But that's another show. That's another video. That's another time. All right, folks. So I hope you've been enjoying watching. Make sure to like and subscribe to watch the show live, and/or watch the show again and repeat when I edit it and curate it and I get all the good bits and put it all together. And if you have any questions at all for me or Greg, email me direct. Any SEO questions, any AI questions, questions about Keyword Spy, email me right now. Email me directly at joshbashinsky@gmail.com. Again, that's JOSH, B as in Bob, ACH, Y as in YouTube, N as in Nancy, SKI@gmail.com. So signing off here at the SEO plus AI show for Greg and myself. Everyone, good luck in the SERPs, and take a break. See what's going on with AI during the day. See what new companies you want to invest in. See what new time you want to invest in. See the new technologies and see the cool stuff that's going on. But at night, unplug. Take a break. Unwind. Drink a beer maybe, and relax. And meet in the middle, and I think you're going to have a good life. All right, guys, thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you all next week.